It's slowed us down. That's why we're harvesting right now. Usually we would be done all this by now.
A wet spring that saw fields flooded and forced delayed seeding in much of the province continues to impact farmers as they begin the work of harvesting their crops, getting them ready for market. Farmers are working from sun up to sundown, and in some cases late into the night, to get their crops off the fields and into the bins after one of the wettest seasons on record here in Manitoba.
The harvest is going okay. We're just a little later than usual.
Kevin Stott is a third-generation farmer and plants around 4,000 acres each year. Stott says the extreme amounts of moisture this spring made it impossible for many farmers to get seeds into the ground at the time of year they wanted.
Any crop you were going to plant on flooded land is impacted by the moisture.
Late planting pushed back the growing season, which means harvesting is happening in the cooler months of September instead of the hot days in August, says Stott, which is causing grain crops to hold their moisture longer, making him wait even longer to cut down his crop.
We're probably, 3 weeks behind in our harvest.
It's all hands on deck. I've got my father-in-law out there in the one combine, and then another friend from the city. He's helping out too. My brother's out in another field cutting down crops that we can harvest it later. My dad's in the semi right now. I've got another friend that's hauling grain around the field. So it's a zoo.
Cereal farmer Colin Penner says on the days the weather is good, his family is working around the clock to make the most of the time they have left to harvest the fields. Bill Campbell, president of Keystone Agricultural Producers, says right now farmers are behind the 5-year average, with lots of harvesting still needing to happen. Adding, while some crops have done all right given the wet spring, others have suffered.
One of the most disappointing at this point is the canola crop.
As for Stott, he says the other prairie provinces are also dealing with the impacts of weather, but friends he's spoken with say they have been able to start their harvests sooner than he has here in Manitoba.
I know that in Alberta, the friends I talked to there, they were praying for rain and they didn't get it forever, and then they got so much that they got a bunch of crops drowned out. They were harvesting, I would say, a week before us.
In Winnipeg, Mark Neufeld, City News.